Hello, everyone. I'm very grateful for your presence and energy today. Welcome to Ritual Creativity and Art Unlocking the Magic in Your Home. In this global conference, we're bringing together expert speakers to share their insights on well being, rituals, energy systems, holistic spaces, and art. Together, we will explore how our homes can become foundations for both personal and global transformation. By deepening our self awareness and creative power, we can align our spaces with our true essence, elevate our energy, and feel inspired to positively influence our surroundings. This journey is all about hope and about empowering ourselves to transform our reality, live mindfully, and contribute to a more conscious and harmonious world. I am Maria Isabel Barrero, your host and guide for this event, and today I am delighted to introduce Liisa Corpella. Welcome, Liisa. It's such a pleasure to have you here with us today.
Thank you, Maria Isabel. Thank you. So wonderful to be here. I love this topic and the summit that you're pulling together, and just wonderful just opportunity to ignite that creative magic of the home. So thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome. So, Liisa Corpella is a visionary and transformational leader who, through her presence and grounded essence, holds the space for sacred to emerge like the lotus from the mud. Through her wisdom and guidance in her teaching, coaching, and facilitation, she activates people into a deeper connection to their essence and gifts, unlocking insights and revealing their greatest selves. A daughter of immigrants, her ancestral roots run back to the Arctic Circle in Finland. She was born and raised in the Midwest of the United States, and as an adult, transplanted herself into the Pacific Northwest. It is there where she began expanding her exploration into reconnecting with her roots in nature. With over 30 years of experience as a medicine maker, teacher, and truth seeker, Liisa has cultivated a talent for revealing the nourishing potential and possibilities. With her expertise in herbalism and energy medicine, she brews up a potent medicine for her clients and students. From scaling the heights of Machu Picchu to meditating in the crypts of the Great Pyramid, her wisdom traverses new horizons and uncharted territory. Liisa is rooted in the Emerald Valley of Oregon with her family. She teaches, coaches, and facilitates both online and in person internationally. Liisa, I'm really looking forward to hearing about your perspective on this fascinating topic, reconnecting with nature to find your way home.
Yay. I love that. Thank you so much for that introduction and the opportunity for being here. And yeah, I'm really excited to be able to have this conversation about bringing nature into home and reconnecting with nature in our sense of place. And we are in such crazy time right now in the world with so much technology coming into our lives that right now my passion is to get people to remember to be connected to nature, because it literally is um our human nature is part of nature. We are in this web of life. And so many studies have been done to show the power of nature's connection to our health and well being, and just such a vital part of what we really need to focus on right now. Staying connected to the natural world around us. And I love this quote. I thought it would be very appropriate for this conference, by Frank Lloyd Wright, an architect. And he says, study nature, love nature, stay close to nature. It will never fail you. And so I love that. And I love, as your work as an architect, and builders, like, we're creating home, we're creating structure of space, but yet we're planting it on nature somewhere. We're building this temple on nature, right? And so, how can we have this awareness to bridge this inner and exterior world back and forth with one another, that we cannot just only be seeing nature outside of our home, but actually having this dance back and forth, weaving nature into the home and weaving ourselves out of the home back into nature, right? So both of these pieces are so important part of really finding a place that we can rest and settle and feel a sense of belonging. And this really belonging really comes from a sense of connecting to our landscape. And as I've been contemplating this summit and things that I can offer about this, I've been really thinking about how as the human tribe was very nomadic and moving around the earth, and we would have these temporary shelters of being made, like, well, how do people decide where to settle and where to kind of root themselves? And so they were, at that point when we were more nomadic, we really had this very powerful, strong relationship and language and connection and communication with nature. We know where, we're going to have this sense of, where is the water? Are we close to the water? Because we're going to be needing water for our daily activities, and then also, like, how is the wind blowing? Am I going to be in the middle of something that the wind is going to be blowing over my structure and creating more cold, or just not lack of stability? And then the sun, how potent is the sun? Am I next to trees that can nestle in some shade and protection? And so I just love to think about how we, as this kind of human animal, really with a very innate instinct, found to root ourselves in nature and create home and shelter and structure, which I think is neat to think about, because we're in such this urbanized world right now with so many structures and so many buildings. It's like, wow, how do we reconnect with the landscape that we were used to be in such relationship with? So I love just thinking about the elementals, right? The elementals of nature are a really important part of our awareness of how to connect with the natures. And I'll be kind of diving into that a little bit later. But so just really bringing the sense of home is our roots in nature, bring the belonging, right? And so we want to bring awareness to where we are, where we are in the world that we live. Do we live next to the coast? Do we live in the desert? Do we live in the jungle? Do we live in the Arctic? Like, all of these different qualities actually really have a lot of, they change the human nature, they change our character, they change our health. All of these different environments are very very molding to our human body. I love the desert. I love the desert. It's vast, huge landscape, and it's like the eagle vision, and the rocks, and the really simple, tiny little flowers that you see in the rocks, and the little life forms. Yet, like, my body does not feel at home in the desert. I need way too much lip balm and way too much moisturizer to feel connected to a sense of home in the desert. The desert is a beautiful place for me to visit. And I just, whenever I'm there, I'm like, does not feel like home. That body telling us how it's interacting with the environment and where it feels good. Some people really need the desert. They need that dry air. They need that warmth for their body and their health and well-being. So these are things that are really important for us to um, have a sense of our own body as this temple and home, as we build structure of temple and home around us, right? So to start off, I would love to just do a little opening meditation to get people kind of connected in, if that's okay with you. And if there's anything else you wanted to add with what I just said.
No, first, thank you for all your opening.
Yeah.
I love the quote. I really admire Frank Lloyd Wright. And what it just came to me is that we are also nature, no? We are part of nature. So all of those insights that our bodies receive is because we are intricately connected. Sometimes we just forget about that deep connection that we have, but we are part of it. Nature is part of us and we are part of it. So
Yeah.
there's that talk, that constant symbiotic relationship with nature. So yeah, thank you so much for this opening, and I can wait to start with this meditation.
Yay, excellent. All right. Well, I just invite all the listeners, if you are in a place that you're able to, not driving and anything, kind of just settle in and close your eyes and just take a deep breath and just allow that all the busyness of your head and your mind just to kind of settle down into your body, down into your heart space. You might even want to like touch your heart a little bit, just to just coming within, moving from the exterior to the interior landscape. And then with the next breath, just allow our attention to move into a deeper, wider center between our hips, where we feel anchored, where we can feel this foundation of our core. And then allowing our attention to move down our legs, down to the soles of our feet, and just feeling our feet touching the ground. And they might be in whatever landscape that you resonate with. Maybe your feet are barefoot on the ground with some soft green cool grass, or just delighting, refreshing, bubbling creek of water, or the warm sand on the beach. Just finding where your feet want to land on earth. And just bringing in that intelligence and just notice the textures, the sounds, the feelings. And then with the next breath, just allow your feet to be open up and to grow roots, growing deep down into Mother Earth, intertwining with the mycelial network that informs all of this intelligence of life beneath our feet, in the earth, under the soil. And then just allow our roots to grow deeper down past the stones and bones, down to the core of Mother Earth, feeling that connection, just feeling that connection to this earth, just sending so much gratitude to her, beautiful blue planet that we live on. And just feeling that deep connection with the earth. Just you feel this connection too that she sends back to us. She's so thankful that we are here, the antennae on her, like little hairs. We stand up and we feel for her, and we laugh and dance and cry and and create in this space. And she's so appreciative that we are here in this human body to be creating in this space with her. And then just allowing that deep connection with the earth and feeling that appreciation, just allowing that rich nourishment to come up your roots into the core of your body, into your heart space, and allowing your branches to extend out up to the sun, feeling your leaves with nourishment, connecting to the sun, the moon, and the stars above. Just feeling this greater connection to the universe around us. And allowing that starlight wisdom just to shower down its light energy. Just so thankful that we are spiritual beings here living in this temple, in this body, this universal life force filling our being, allowing it to come down our branches, down into our core, into our heart. And now with the next breath, just allow as above and as so below to synergize and connect in your heart. Now I invite you to notice, just like in your mind's eye, what is the direction where the sun rises? Where is east from where you are right now? In this direction, I call him the element of air, first breath of life in the morning, sun and dawn. Just connecting with that air in the east. And then creating a connection to the south, the fire, where creativity, the noon sun comes, where we can keep warmth, where we can keep creative, connected around the fire. And then bringing your attention to the west. This is where the water resides, thinking of the sacred water of life, the setting sun. Bringing in that connection with water, that sacred elixir. And then putting our attention to the north, to the where the earth is, to the nighttime. We feel a deep connection to our place and sense of home, being on earth, standing on the shoulders of our ancestors, creating the next generations. And then just allowing that circle to reconnect to the east. So feeling yourself in the sacred hoop around you, connected to your sense of place through each direction. And you might even feel like one particular direction is a little stronger, just so taking note about that, what it can inform you. Now just feeling your body and feeling this, your state in these four directions, your body like the temple for your soul. And then allow yourself to imagine this sacred structure that wraps around you, that holds you, your hearth and home and heart, your family, your connection to taking care of yourself in the sacred home space. And I invite you just to listen in to a message that this sacred space wants to share with you. Maybe something that needs to be adjusted or changed, or something that's appreciated. It's really noticing that space. And just pulling in this sacred home and sacred connection, just giving appreciation for having shelter, for having this sanctuary where you can rest and nourish yourself. And from here, we just give gratitude to this space and gratitude to this body we call home. And we invite you just to settle back in, giving thanks for all that has been, is, and will ever be. Just allowing yourself to come back in your body and open your eyes and come back and feel the sense of place.
Liisa, thank you so much. This is
So
so
welcome.
beautiful.
Yeah. So from here, I would love to talk about being in this co-creative connection with nature, right? Like really feeling, like you were just saying, like we are part of nature. Our molecules are all in a soup together. All of the chemistry of us is in this interactive connection space. And there's huge studies that are done just on the biome of biology of the buildings, right? Because buildings have a biome, a life force, and just like us, we have these this a biome around us, right? These microorganisms around in the field around us, and um, and so as well as our houses do that. And I'm sure if anybody has animals and you go on a vacation, you come back to your house and it smells very differently because the animals have been still living in that space and then the human biome isn't there anymore, right? So but we kind of like lose connection with how interconnected we are, right? Like literally in the field around us, we are having this information and connection through these spaces. And so these temples and homes really capture that, energy and connection. So it's so important to really bring in nature to our homes. There's so many studies that show like hospital beds and patients when they're in windows that are next to trees and nature, they heal faster, right? And so there's a whole thing called biophilia, which are the studies of shown that when humans are disconnected to nature, that they actually like we have dis-ease and dysfunction. And so, and also just to think about those diseases and dysfunctions of our body, in that sense of place, like me not really liking to be in a very dry desert, but like these things are affecting us, right? And so my ancestors are from the north, Arctic Circle, very extremes of light, so that sense of place really affected their health and well-being. And there would be really certain rituals to keep people supported through these like very intense times of dark and very intense times of light, and there's other places that we hear about, like the cliff dwellers, and they had these intense relationships with the wind, right? Because the wind would come in and they would get wind madness because it was just swirling around and like they couldn't settle their energy, right? And so there's this whole we want to be in conversation with this and not close the doors, close the windows, and trap ourselves in boxes, right? And so you think about how bringing this nature into the home, just like the grandmothers, whenever we were sick, and then all of a sudden the fever broke, like they'd open up the windows. It's like so it's literally letting the bad germs move out and cleanse the house, right? And let that air come in to cleanse the house and let it breathe again. And so we do these little rituals without even knowing, the scientific studies that prove that, oh, these little things that grandmother did were actually really important. So yeah, just really breathing in those connections with nature, I think, is something so important for us to do. So from there.
Thank you, Liisa, for all those beautiful insights. So I wanted to ask you if you know how to share uh, or share some rituals
Mhm.
in a way that we can incorporate and support our well-being through nature.
Yeah, love that. So, the like as I was saying in the meditation, like our home is a temple, right? Our home is and our body is a temple. So this is a place that we can create a sense of space and sacredness in the home through ritual. And so, um, we can do that by finding a place in our home that we can create a sacred sanctuary, a place that we can do our meditation, our yoga, our reading, some place that can feel deeply connected for us to just come in and get grounded, right? Grounded in our home, grounded on earth. So really just creating a sacred space. And it doesn't have to be big, it doesn't have to be elaborate, but just some little place. Maybe it's on a windowsill or it's a little bedside table or a special table, in a room. Creating a place of an altar to create a place to get grounded. So I think that is a really important ritual we can do with our home. We would have altars with the ancestors and pictures of the ancestors. Different cultures would be very focused on that. So these can be very creative and they can be really like spontaneous to what works for you. And as you might imagine, I have lots of little bits of nature on my altar, lots of stones and pine cones and sands I've collected from different places. And so like we can bring these elements of nature and then create a connection with them on this altar. And so you wanted to say something?
That what you are just saying right now, it just makes me think about that we talk about our physicality also through nature, like as you were also bringing in us in the meditation into connection with our directions. Like first it was like the within, then up and down, and then the four directions. So all this connection, and as you were also restating, like that connection as above, so below, bridging all of that. So by creating these rituals, we are trying to bring down all of this connection in our physicality, in our spaces, and being aware of that to be connected, intentionally connecting ourselves and bringing ourselves back into that relationship, that sacred relationship that exists at all times, even if we are in the middle of the city and we don't see nature. It is there.
Exactly. And you just got to listen. There's a dandelion cracking through those sidewalks, making its force to be it's seen, and yes, I love that because our world, like I see our world right now is so exteriorly focused. We're all outside of ourselves, looking for solutions outside of ourselves. The problems are all outside of ourselves. And really the remedy for our time is to come within, right? To come within, to find connection so we can actually be in our heart space, allowing the busyness of the mind to drop back into the heart space. And so from this place, we can really get anchored and build our sense of well-being, right? Is because our nervous system's fried because we're externally focused and we're getting too much information, right? So how can we thin that information down and come back into our inner landscape, right? Instead of this outer landscape. And so this needs to be tended to. And we tend to this in the home, right? That where we feel this connection and sacred safety and shelter, and that we can really relax into. I also like to think about like the meditation of um, when raising my daughter. The one of this ladies kind of said, it's really great to have these like inhales and exhales of your day. The kids are outside playing in the yard, and then they come in for snack time, and so this is the inhale, and then the exhale is this more exterior energy. So we, as not just children, like we need that as well. Like we come in, we're doing our work, then we need to exhale, we need to go outside and we need to take walks, or we just need to listen to the birds or feel the fresh air. It's important for us to weave our daily life as a ritual, bringing nature outside, connecting with the nature outside, and then coming back in. to our spaces. So,
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
yeah.
So, Lisa, what are some of the benefits of intertwining nature into our homes and daily lives?
Yeah. So, plastic green plants they don't need a lot of maintenance. They will look pretty, and they will not need watering, and they will not die on you, but they are not a life force, right? They're not life force. So we really want to bring life force into our homes, right? We need green plants. We need green plants around us. Not just only, well, because our air exchange, like we're literally in respiration, in connection with plants. We are in this dance with oxygen and carbon dioxide with them. And so it's really important to have plants in our home to help our homes breathe for ourselves and for our animals and all of the whole well-being of the home. And so not only are plants being helping us in this breathing space, but they're actually also filtering for us. And there's certain plants that are actually really good to have in your home office because they have a better filtering of the electromagnetic frequencies. So they are actually able to then hold some of the intense vibrational spaces that are happening with technology. And so, really stewarding relationships with plants to keep this well being, the vibration in our home is really important. They're also showing, having plants in our home is not just like helping our respiration, it's helping clean toxicity. They're also helping balance our endocrine system, our hormones. Like there really is benefit to just having green plants surrounded us in our home. But that doesn't stop there because I can keep on going. There's many more ways I love bringing plants into the home. But did you want to say something first?
No, you can keep on going.
So the other way is like, you know, plants, we can use plants in as for like potpourris, right? For cleaning the air, just like that cleaning the air, opening the window. Certain cultures would do things that are called like smudging or cleaning the air. They would burn some sage or cedar, which would literally kind of disinfect the air, right? So we can use these sacred incense in plants as smudges or incense to actually be purifying and help our own spiritual nature through the aromatherapy. And so bringing plants in as aromatherapy is like so important for our houses, and to really, I highly encourage people to use natural potpourris and essential oils, diffusers for their home. Many the home fragrances that you plug into the wall are incredibly toxic, and they're very harmful for our hormone system. And so we really want to stay away from those artificial um, scents because they are going to disrupt our body. Where the essential oils or the aroma of the plant is what is those aromatic oils that kind of come off the plant, and as we smell them, these aromatic oils are actually what we use for aromatherapy, but they're also the immune system of the plant. So they have this kind of aura around them that's like emanating these essential oils that creates this shield, this protective shield around them. And so that same quality is we are supported with when we have essential oils, we're diffusing essential oils. Like each one is going to, and we can have different vibrations, right? Like orange is really good for, there's like a lot of pollen or pollution is a really good thing to diffuse, and those little molecules in the air are going to be grabbing some of those dust particles and kind of taking them to the floor. And so they actually have this interaction with the aromas, right? And the aroma, the having diffusers. So really bringing plants as like our own immune system, building the immune system of our house, right? Through aromatherapy. And then of course, flowers are beautiful. And we like having flowers um, as beauty just for the color is so healing for our human spirit. I used to think it was kind of frivolous to like buy myself flowers. And now I've completely like liberated myself because I just love having flowers in my home. And when I have a fresh vase and, you see the different seasons, because then you can connect with the seasons and bringing in the spring. We're up in the northern hemisphere here. So it's like we're bringing in the spring blossoms right now and the daffodils for our flower vases. And so we get to connect with what is going on outside and bring that in. So those are like really sweet rituals that I love to think about, like connecting. It's during the winter time, right? Evergreens, like we bring in the evergreen tree for the winter time, right? So connecting those seasonal, um uh yeah, the intelligence of the season to weave that into the home.
Oh, I love all of these, what you just said. And a lot of those benefits like really resonate on me, like the life force uh, benefit is incredible. Just like by having plants, those living beings, how much they can also give you in return by just having them there. And also for me, it has to do a lot with inspiration, and what you just mentioned, like the beauty, how like the depth of beauty and how much it connects us to also the love, the love for creation, for nature itself. And I'm a fan of the essential oils, and I find a lot of different qualities in each aroma, and how some of them can really like ground you or allow you to have the space for more concentration, or for purifying and cleaning the air, or for just like connecting with a frequency of love, and
Yeah.
deliciousness. So yeah, thank you for bringing that in, because I think it's just like a resource that is so forever, is in everyone's, as everyone has that on reach very easy,
Yes. Yes.
and it really can give us so much benefits, immediate gratification.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I can't stress enough too that like many of the synthetic fragrances, they are very highly trade secret. They have a lot of high trade secrets, so they don't have to disclose the chemicals that are in a lot of the fragrance. They just say fragrance. You don't know what they are, and a lot of them are incredibly neurotoxic. I mean, I have to run down the detergent aisle at the grocery store because I just feel so overwhelmed by the smells. So it's really important to think about like what kind of material we're putting in our home. And so I actually have a question for you as an architect and building materials. Like, is there kind of this sense of like there's going to have a really different quality of, when you have different building materials that are stuck together with glues, or if it's just natural wood, or I don't know, any kind of insights on that. I think it's important to.
So right now, there is a lot of resources that you can find these days for people that want to be more friendly building. And
Mhm.
of course, there is like this side of the equation where you pay less initially to have a cheaper construction, but then over the time that construction will start polluting the air that you are breathing, and also the air around you. So that first cheap investment will be more polluting, and that other possibility of investing a little bit more of money for materials that are greener, where initially that they will not be breaking out in a certain amount of time, and then breathing all of that. For me, it has always been like very contradictory, like to go to a project where they are building a house and you have to put like all these masks because they are putting like the insulation on the walls that you're going to breathe.
Yes.
You have to go and you're like, oh, and then they paint with a lot of other toxic stuff on it, and then you cannot even breathe that, but then it's all beautiful and nice, and everyone thinks it's all right, and you go sleep that and breathe that day by day. So yeah, right now you can find a lot of resources, and I have one of my interviews is with a professional, an architect in sustainability, and they have amazing resources about construction and materials and all these new techniques and innovations in that direction, because there is a lot to be done in this industry of construction to make it more like really more humanized,
Yeah,
more gentle, not just with ourselves, but also with the planet. And um, yeah, how are we gonna make our lives more sustainable in a short and in a long term, and by taking daily little actions, even from the mindset of all the stuff that we feel we need and we have to buy
right.
to a mentality of like upcycling things, reusing things that are already out there that can be just beautified by you putting or inserting your creativity on them, and bringing a circle of life to things. So there are
Yeah,
many ways of introducing like these new concepts and new ideas, and a little bit more of gentleness, kindness, and love into our everyday with.
yeah. And just this idea that like we are spraying these chemicals in new buildings, and then we have to off gas the building, right? And then we go and live in these spaces, and we're having a lot of health problems from a lot of these new technologies, right? And these new chemicals and things that are being introduced to our bodies that we had no idea. There's not an evolutionary memory of these things. And so, people are getting very sick. Environmental sickness is a real thing for people. And it's completely like, baffling to some people, because you're like, what, how could, like, everything starts to break down the body when if you're already on this immune kind of edge, and then you're in a toxic environment with lots of chemicals, your home has a lot of off gassing, people can get really sick from these things. And yet, and not understand that is literally just the home that is making us sick through these different products. And so I think that's really to bring awareness that, yeah, like that there's quick solutions, but that actually the greener solution, or the more holistic, healthy solution, is there's an investment to keeping that. And then there's also, longevity. A piece of solid lumber versus a particle board is going to last a lot longer, right? So, yeah, they're just that's so it's important to really think about, and then, as you mentioned, the long-term consequences, right? Like what happens when we, have to get rid of the insulation? What do we do with it? Then it's just on some waste dump on the earth. So how can we, really use materials in a conscious way? I think is great, and I'm looking forward to listening to that interview.
Yes, absolutely. And I have been in even in projects where where some construction companies build homes for someone else to buy, and they finish these homes from like up until the last detail, and then the the new homeowners come, and they decide to renovate the new bathroom. So they demolish the whole new things to bring in there. So how can we find also like a little bit more of transparency in the way we offer things to others, knowing that someone else is going to come? How can we start like opening those spaces where we ask them what they want, instead of us finishing to have a little bit more of budget money in our pockets, and then if they have to renovate, it's their problem, not mine. So how
Right.
how we shift that mentality of just getting the money in our pockets and don't caring about what happened next, like
I
really.
love that, because that is like, because so much what I see right now is like, it's how we perceive nature is really the climate crisis that we're in, because we're not connected to the whole circle. We're not connected to nature. We're not connected to the repercussions. And so we're so kind of shallow that we're like, oh, we're going to redo the bathroom to sell the house, and then somebody else is going to come in and redo it. Like, how could we have, a relationship to say, oh, well, I can take this discount down because I'm not going to, you're going to redo the bathroom yourself. I mean, it's an interesting dilemma, because you want to sell the product, yet at the same time, well, yeah, how can we find a more collaborative way instead of having this, this wastefulness that is happening? And I also do want to say, just I know we're kind of getting closer to the time, but it's really important to not only just like bringing nature through ritual and connecting and bringing plants into our world and being mindful of the materials that we're using in our home, but also just to be really mindful of these ideas of smart homes. And everyone's like, oh, smart homes. This is like the new innovation, the new way that we want to be living in these smart homes, that we have technology all around us. That I say something and my coffee pot pops on, and then I say something else and my grocery list has been, cast off to the cloud. And like all of these things, that we have so much smart technology that's coming into our home. And I just want to tell everybody, watch out, because these things are making us dumb. They are not smart at all, right? They are clever, kind of technological innovations that have this, allure to them. Yet they are really, we really need to consider how much electromagnetic frequency is being generated in the home through all this technology. I mean, we have wirelesses, and Bluetooths and all of these things. If we could actually visually see what is happening, I think we would have a very different perspective of what, if we really want to have a smart home.
And also, what if all of this fails? You
Yeah.
know, then you are just without tools, without like a possibility of doing something that sometimes needs just a little bit of attention, like by daily actions. You just put it all in a device or in a place with all this technology, but you can really manage to do certain things, and we don't need to have necessarily intelligent homes.
I know, and these intelligent smart devices, like I say, are making us dumb because they're atrophying. Like they're atrophying our own skills. Like, why is it these things important? Why would I not interact with like my own environment? Oh, it's very convenient to have, to tell the computer to turn my music on by voice command, but it's then also very convenient for all of interrupting. So I think it's just really we should really just think about these things and bring awareness to them, and not just be so excited, but like really like, how is this going to help my home? And I, highly recommend for people not to be sleeping with technology in their bedroom, to really not like get an old alarm clock. Don't use your phone as your alarm clock, because these phones next to our bed are really harmful for our health, and we're carrying them around all day long. It's really good to find a chunk of the day to keep them separated. Keep technology, the TVs and the blue lights in your bedroom are like not a good idea. You want your bedroom to be a really calm place that you can allow the body to just relax and not feel bombarded by all these technologies and frequencies. So
This I would like to make our last question, and it is, how can nature help us ground and support us during times of chaos and challenge?
yeah, and this is this is the forest bathing, the forest bathing, remembering our connection with nature is so vital. So um it's really important for us to, and just that forest bathing is just help the nervous system, it helps balance our hearts, it helps our digestion and all of that. And it's thinking about like natural lighting, more natural lighting around us is so beneficial. They've done studies in, Australia, where school age kids who were outside most of the time versus inside had totally different health outcomes of eyesight and obesity and different, things. So like really bringing um a relationship of nature, Building relationship with nature is so important. How can I connect with nature today is just in harvesting some flowers or you know having a bath with essential oils and rose petals or whatever that may be, to really just remember that we are part of nature. And that is really the biggest chaos of our time, is that we've been living in a world that's trying to dominate it instead of being co-creative with it.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you so much. So Lisa has prepared a beautiful free gift for us today. It is a Sowing the Sacred meditation. You will find the link to access the free gift below the description of this video. But Lisa, would you like to share anything about this free gift?
Oh yeah, just a meditation to connect with nature, just a little bit longer than the one that we did today, and just an opportunity for you to just relax and to come into the inner scape, and just to allow ourselves to feel nourished and connected, and remember that deeper sacred place within ourselves, and then from that place connect into our outer world. So yeah, excited to share that with you all. And if you want to get a hold of me, you can get a hold of me on my website. It's liisakorpela.com, LIISAKORPELA. And that's where you can find my work and about my coaching and my upcoming classes and things like that.
Thank you so much, Lisa. And I wanted to ask you if there's any final message you would like to leave us with.
I just want to send lots of gratitude for you, Maria, for this conference and just pulling together all these beautiful speakers. And just, I really love the beauty of art and color and bringing that beauty into our life. Like, life is full of doom and gloom and chaos. So let's nurture our lives with beauty and plants and color, and bring nature into our home so we can feel connected to this web of life.
Oh, thank you so much for this rich and insightful conversation. It's been a gift to hear all your thoughts about this beautiful theme that you also brought to us today. Lisa, thank you very much for being with us. And thank you all for being part of this event. Wishing you a lovely day. See you in our next session. Goodbye.
Bye.